Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 90% podcast. I am Nick Iula.
As always, I'm Mike Iula.
And we're sharing a mic, unfortunately. Today we have a very special episode. We have our friends Adam and Sean. So today they're here to kind of promote their new brand that they're launching and a clothing drop that's coming out this weekend. We've known you guys for a long time, probably since high school. You know, why don't you tell us about yourselves and who you guys are and say anything you'd like, and then we'll just get into the brand.
Yeah, I can start it up. I'm Adam, like you just said. I'm going to be a senior at Siena College, and just started working on this brand with my buddy Sean last year. We were having a blast, working on creative shit, you know, just doing what we love.
Yeah. So I'm Sean. I kind of do the designing for the brand. I'm going to Russell Sage this semester. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so you guys, we've known you guys for pretty much, I don't know, 8-9 years at least, right?
Yeah, probably something like that.
So for Sean, for those that don't know, we went to school together and we actually were in the same program. You want to talk a little bit about, you know.
You switched into my program. Yeah, you came in late.
Yeah, so originally I was in Hudson Valley Community College, if you know Hudson Valley. Shout out Hudson Valley.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great school.
Yeah, it is a good school. But, you know, originally I was in architecture and I did that for a little while and I enjoyed that. And I think, you know, I was looking for a different direction because it wasn't really fulfilling what I enjoyed. So when I transitioned over to digital media, you know, you were already a little bit farther into the program. And, you know, it was really interesting because I feel like you were sort of a guide for me when I needed it, when I didn't know a lot about like a lot of these Adobe softwares that we were using and stuff.
You sat next to me.
Yeah. So I think, you know, your inspiration was really, I guess it inspired me in a lot of ways too. So, you know, what really got you into sort of like the digital media sort of things and that kind of stuff?
Both my parents, they run their own graphic design firm. So that was kind of like what introduced me to that. And then just growing up seeing that. So,
yeah. Cool. Adam, so you went to Siena College, correct?
Going to be graduating next year.
All right, word. So what program are you in right now?
I am a psychology major with a concentration in law. Don't know what I want to do with it yet. Time will tell, you know. We'll see what I end up doing. But
yeah, for sure.
That's about it. Moving into a townhouse next week. I'm excited. Back to some regular college, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we don't get shut down. Fingers crossed, you know what I'm saying?
I like the online classes, though. I'm not going to lie. They were easier, I felt like.
I forgot I needed a mic. Did you feel like for our major, Sean, at least when you were finishing up, like how did you think the classes translated like online and then also compared to like in person? How did it affect your grade and like what do you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it made it easier for some of the classes, but I mean, for some of the art stuff, that was really tough. Like drawing, that was impossible.
I took a photography class last semester through COVID. My worst grade, actually, out of all, I took full college semester, full credited.
Hardest I helped you with that.
That class was hard as hell. Learning it like just over, you know, and not having that teacher there that's showing you, you know, you got to go here. And I got through it, but I'll tell you, stuff like that online, just that's brutal.
Yeah, you know, when I was in digital media and stuff, one of the first classes they have you take is like a photography class. And honestly, you know, for some people, that's just like a headache trying to get that through. I'm not sure if that was something that, you learn a lot, especially.
Oh, yeah, no, but, I learned definitely, but.
Yeah, I feel terrible that you had to learn that online because even in the setting of having a teacher and having like 3-hour workshop classes like a couple times a week, it took a lot for me to start to understand like the aspects of a camera and shooting manually as opposed to just like, okay, take the freaking camera, hit a button, you know, like you have to learn about shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. And for some people, you know, they probably don't even know what that is, people that are watching. And, you know, for those that have a little bit of an idea, like that's a pretty big undertaking, you know, especially when you're trying to learn that online.
Through a screen, yo, like it's crazy. Can't even walk up to the teacher and be like, all right, I understand this. Can you help me with this? You know, it's like you don't even really get that with the online learning.
For sure.
Like, you didn't even have Zoom or anything, right? Like, this was strictly
for that
just,
class.
like,
I had
everything.
Zoom. You're thinking of, and even to piggyback off that, I took a digital media class. I took 2 digital media classes at Siena. One last semester, one the semester prior. The semester prior was strictly online. That was learning, the basics of Photoshop and Illustrator, and it was difficult too. It was easier than photography for me, just because I think photography is just a little more hands-on, but
Yeah, for sure.
difficult for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all pretty much around the same age. We're almost done with college, some of us, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of similarities between the 4 of us. And I think one of those things would probably be just the creativity aspect of things. Us here running a podcast, and you guys, using your creative outlooks on things like a brand. So you guys have been working on a brand. It's been out for how long now?
We released our first shirt like a year ago. Like, not even like, I think like a month ago was like a year.
All right.
Yeah, probably something like that.
But yeah, this drop's just taking so long.
Psych Soon's been a thing for years.
Oh, no kidding.
Like 6-7 years. I never even knew it was going to be a clothing
You
brand,
started like in high school, right? Like, you started sketching stuff in high school.
Yeah.
So this was sort of kind of a thing that started, for you as an idea, and it sort of turned into like a passion, and with the help of Sean and a couple, I'm sure other people that you've been able to sort of turn it into a brand. So your brand's called Psych Soon, correct?
Yep.
All right. You want to tell us just a little bit about kind of inspiration behind it and that kind of thing?
You mean like kind of like more of like what it means?
Yeah, just a little bit about that kind of thing.
To start, like I just said, like this has been a thing for like 6-7 years. I would always be the type, I would be in class, whatever, and I would be, in math, whatever. I don't like math. I was being math. Teachers got the notes. I'm doodling whatever in my notebook, whatever. I'm just doing my own thing. Passing the class, but doing my own thing. But so that's when that really started. For whatever reason, I was writing psych in all my notebooks, psych, and at the time having, like I already just said, ending up being a psychology major, I had a huge interest in psychology at the time, and just the mind, and just like it was just so intriguing to me. Like, I took my first psychology class in high school, and I took ab psych, and I think another one after that, and psychology is just such a cool, like it just has such an overwhelming, like it just controls every aspect of your life. And the way you look at it is like almost every major has a lot of psychology in it. Like when you really even look at it, you look at things like business, marketing, like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of psychology in those majors, just everything like that. But especially so where the Soon came in was more just, I'm a promoter of just positive mental health. That's kind of what it is, reaching that state of healthy psyche. That's Psych Soon. Oh, okay. And that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, I don't really, and nobody's ever really. Yeah, I've never talked about that unless someone's asked me. So now you know.
Wow.
every time somebody asks me that, I just wish you were there to explain it.
Yeah. It's a little awkward to explain that, because it's like, when you talk about shit like mental health, like not everyone can just, step out and talk about that. I'm comfortable, especially being like a psychology major. Like it doesn't bother me by any means, but it's definitely a little bit awkward when people ask you 100%. Sure.
That's funny you said 100%.
100%, 90%.
I was gonna literally say, like, it tied into our confidence with like this podcasting. You're talking about mental health and bringing awareness to that. I think this is mental health too. People got to understand, like, obviously the branding, we mentioned it in previous episodes with this particular podcast, and that's why I think your clothing brand, our friendship, and then just the podcast and our channel in general just collides perfectly. I think
totally agree,
dude, because it's like here we are telling everyone that no one's 100%er, and everyone who is 100%er are tryhards who typically get burnt out and fail, and everyone doesn't like them. And then you guys are talking about, like, mental health. It's very cool. So I guess we can talk more into the brand. You have shirts on the table. Do you want to show some people the designs? And
I can, but you're gonna have to hold this.
I got you.
Because I can't talk.
All right, cool.
You don't want to talk?
I'm gonna have to talk, but.
Oh, I see. I got you. I'll hold it for you.
Yeah, there you go. Hold that. So I mean,
this
was yeah,
Sean, you go up right in front of the camera if you want.
You can put it wherever you want.
Put it right in front of their faces.
Wherever you're comfortable, bro.
We need light on you.
But nah, that's those are the first shirts we put out.
Here, put it back here, Sean. Get her in the light. Lower.
We're actually just talking about this too, and I mean, as most artists end up with a lot of their work, you end up not liking it. And I really, if you want me to be completely honest with you, I don't like this shirt that much. But I hope you guys, I hope whoever purchased this shirt likes this shirt.
I think it'll be iconic in
time. Maybe, yeah. But
I think I remember when you guys, I remember that shirt particularly. I think that shirt's that's a cool. It's a cool design because I think it's universal with the black. Was that something that you were thinking about when you wanted to do a brand? Like, were you thinking like colorless? Is that something that you considered for design?
No, wait.
Nah, originally the design was on a white shirt too. You remember that?
Yeah, it looked good too.
And then we inverted the entire design.
Because we wanted to incorporate the metallic.
Yeah.
But no, that was actually a good question. Something that we could actually like jump. I mean, here, why don't you show them? So this is the shirt that's gonna be releasing this weekend. So. And to stem off of what you were just asking me about, like color palettes and stuff, something that I really enjoy about this brand and just being an artist in general is just, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of beauty in being like sporadic. Like, I mean, you look at these two shirts and obviously they're night and day, polar opposites. I mean, one's like a dark, got figures looking down, and that was a lot to do, like you're just talking about with psychology and such like that. But, and then there's this, and I mean, I think that's something that you can definitely expect from this brand going forth is just, we're going to come at you different every single time. It's going to be, a completely different theme. Just there's nothing, no limits, no restrictions, just that type of, it's going to be different every time.
Yeah, I just think evolving the brand as a whole and just striving to
different
really put
aesthetic.
out the best thing
Every single release will probably be the case.
So yeah, that's awesome. I think that, just from the first, of the shirts you guys showed us, I mean, I love both of them, and they're definitely something that I would buy. So just curiously, there's a lot of inspiration that comes from different things in general, pop culture, music, society, whatever. What are some of the things that sort of influenced, I know you sort of talked about where the brand started, but sort of like, what are some outside influences that sort of help you, as far as from a creative standpoint, get to where you are with your brand?
It's a great question. There's one person, and I think everyone knows this, that I take a lot of inspiration from, but I love Kanye West, and I think that he's a creative genius with clothing, with music, whatever. And I feel like although that's always kind of been my plan with a clothing brand, like I was just saying, with the different aesthetics, I feel like that's something that he really does with, his like sneaker releases and his music, like especially his music. Like if you look at his, first album, College Dropout, to even what he's about to hopefully release tomorrow, hopefully, like, dude, he becomes a different person on every album. I mean, and he's bipolar. That's a trait that he carries. He is a completely different person on every single album. If you really look at it, like he becomes like a new form of himself, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. So
I guess and that just jumped in my mind just because obviously hopefully that drops tomorrow, and then two, we were just talking about that aesthetic thing, which I think that there is a lot of influence from him on that aspect of things.
Yeah, for sure. So Sean, this is a question for you specifically. A lot of the inspiration and the brand and some of the ideas and influence seem to be coming a lot from the mind of Adam specifically.
Exactly.
So do you want to just kind of explain like kind of your role and sort of how Psych Soon works for you and what it means to you?
The way that I explain it to a lot of people is that he's like the creative genius and the mind behind everything. And then I'm the one that translates that into the computer and like actually creates the design that comes to life. But he's there along the entire process. Like he's with me the whole way. So like he'll do like a sketch or like he'll throw out an idea, and then it's just my job to kind of create that and bring that to life.
Awesome. So it's sort of kind of like a music producer, like artist kind of deal, where
definitely.
you guys sort of work together.
It's a dynamic duo.
Yeah,
he's a creative genius.
Except for in this particular case, with your brand, it's more like a 50-50 duo rather than like one taking.
No,
one.
like you guys just asked me before this even started, dude. This shit's 50-50. Like you know, it's straight up 50-50. And I can remember, dude, like asking Sean, and this might have been
a long time ago.
I might have been like 3.5 years. I don't even know. Probably like 3+ years ago to work, and he was like, I'll help you, you know, because he always wanted to help. He liked taking pictures for school of me, and it's like Shadow Spider, and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was gonna say was I can remember working with you the one time, and you've come a long way from then, even so, with your personal like creativity and creating things. And he shows me what he does for work now and stuff, and he's come a long way from this. But I can remember one time he worked with him, and I can remember this to a T. And he's like, you know, like I really like having you there to like push, you know, like an aesthetic or like a theme or, you know, just an idea or something like that. And don't get me wrong, you've come such a long way since then. Like the stuff that this kid is doing is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. He blows my mind constantly. You guys see that post he put up on Instagram the other day?
Yeah, it was
it's crazy. Him and Wilk too.
Yeah, we'll have to tag your Instagrams in this video.
Yeah.
If it's not up already, probably in the description of the video. Yeah, but I saw that it was like a scrolling image.
Yeah, seamless. Yeah.
Seamless.
It's not my idea.
Did you use an app?
No, just Photoshop.
Just all Photoshop?
Photoshop.
So you framed it in the size of...
So what you do is you like create the background basically is you size it up. So like Instagram size like for each post is 1080 by 1080.
Right.
So you basically just multiply 1080 by 2, and then that's the top, and then the side, and then you just get some grids in there, and then you just build it. I want to experiment with it more though. I want to do some crazy stuff with that.
I tried to do that. I actually downloaded an app called Scroll, and
there's an app for that.
It auto fills pictures and cuts them, so it's like you can, you know, it would cut the top, so at least if they're all square, then the image that's, you know, elongated will just flow in nicely. So it kind of gives you those borders to work with. Yeah. So I did like a test run with it, where I had I took like 3 photos, but they were like transitional, where it was like, I don't even know how I did it. It was just one long photo if you kept going. So you'd only get like half of my body. And that's how you did it, right?
I mean,
it looks so cool.
It was dope.
Yeah. Well, mine was like 3 separate photos of myself. And then like to kind of merge the two together.
Oh, yeah.
I just cut myself out and just pasted myself in the middle of it. But I can do so much more. There's so much more I can do with that. I just want to keep it simple, keep it plain for the first time doing that. But I definitely want to experiment with it more.
That's so sweet. I was going to say, like, we learned a lot of those tools within, like, Photoshop. So there's so many things you could do with that app. So, yeah, I guess we can transition a little bit. We were going to mention more about, I guess, you know, now that we're on the topic of clothing, and we've got off track with Photoshop, but I do want to get back into your brand a little bit more, because that's why we're here. You know, we talked about your influence with Kanye. We talked about the brand itself and the name, but I guess just kind of to keep it fresh, in my opinion, I kind of want to know, like, what's your opinion of fashion like now, and how it's transitioned from, you know, back in the day when we were like just becoming friends, and what's your opinion? Like, do you think we're at like such a wide range of people just being themselves, or do you think it's like, you know, things were cooler back then?
That's a great question. You know, I think people nowadays, and especially people that are into, you know, fashion just in general, are valuing more than anything nowadays is quality and sustainability. And I think that's why, you know, like we were talking about before as well, like vintage is so popular right now. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for years, not even as it just happened that I liked the vintage stuff that I'd find, but it didn't even start as me, you know, being into vintage. Like, I would be in thrift shops with somebody, I'm talking 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you know, kids we went to golf with, and just in those thrift shops just looking. But I think a lot of people have kind of picked up on how unique you can be with, you know, a lot of this vintage, you know, sustainable clothing. It's like, you know, you got this shirt from a thrift shop, whatever it's from, you know, 1990, you know, you walk out in public, nobody's going to be wearing that, you know, nobody can wear that. And I think that's something that's awesome about where we're going with stuff today. Because I mean, I fell victim to fast fashion myself. I mean, I used to buy like clothes, and I still do sometimes, just basic stuff, but like H&M, for example, like stuff like that is just in general, like usually you end up spending more money trying to keep, a closet full of H&M because it's falling apart on you, opposed to something that's, sustainable. So I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that I see today in just clothes and fashion and everything, is just people are actually focusing on, quality for the first time, in my opinion at least.
I would 100% agree with you. Like, I'm not the biggest guru in like fashion for sure. Like, typically I stay pretty safe with the things. I mean, I'm wearing a Nike like zip up.
I mean, hot right now.
It is. It's been hot since we were kids, I guess. But point being, like, I now that I'm turning into a young adult, we just turned 21, so it's like finding a fashion, at least for like Mike and I feel like we went from being those kids with like the Walmart, Kmart shoes, like our mother was dressing us kind of thing, and very quickly realizing in that middle school time frame, like I actually care.
I need them elite socks.
I need those elite socks.
I need them elite socks. And
Back
those spell out Nike shirts.
We were
And the polo,
always the
Ralph
trend.
Lauren.
We were the trends behind. Like, we got into the Aeropostales like when it was already 3 years too late. Like, that was our thing.
That's funny.
And even now, like, now that people, what's your opinion on like the whole trucker hat like scene and how everyone's transitioned
I
from
wear
flat
truckers.
brims? And
I like truckers. Yeah, look, he's got a
Dude.
trucker on.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's I feel like it's such a lazy but like, generic, relaxed fit. I like it.
Yeah, and dude, especially it's like just like I was talking with the clothes too. It's like an aesthetic. It's like
The 5-inch seam shorts.
yeah, oh yeah. No, I'm all about high shorts. Come on.
I've always been a fan of that for a couple reasons. One, I just think because, given that I am very pale in the winter, it's nice to have a tan that's higher, especially with like bathing suits and stuff. It just makes sense. And like two, I also think it just there's more fashion to it, and it makes you look a little bit taller.
Yeah.
You don't want
I like that. I've never noticed it, but shit, I can use it.
Like I never enjoyed the long basketball look from the 90s, like over the knees. It was way too baggy, and it's uncomfortable.
Iverson sagging his pants.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different generation. It's not ours, so that's why I don't resonate with it. But like, I've always found it just to be an uncomfortable thing, like rubbing your shorts against each other around the knees, like being so It's just wasted fabric. Like,
People are going to extremes with it too. Like,
I know.
I don't know. You see the shorts nowadays.
Yeah,
Which I mean, I don't care what you wear.
no problems.
Not at all. Of course, wear what you want. I'm all about that. Of course, wear whatever you want to wear.
Yeah, I was gonna mention another thing, but I almost forgot. But it's funny that we're on that topic because I think now the point that I was getting at was I'm looking for clothes as like a 21-year-old for quality, and you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I always was about the hypebeast, like aesthetic, and I guess as being a teenager, because you want it, you're like, I'm gonna wear the jersey to this event, and then do the whole F-boy look. That was a thing. What do you nowadays? You see a lot of people like pushing the boundaries. This is coming right off my head right now, but like people are pushing the masculinity aspect of fashion. Like, what do you feel about people that paint their nails the e-boy look? Like, is that like a kick in the face to like people that are typically more feminine, or do you think it's like just almost like a rock way back
That's
fashion
exactly
thing?
what it is. It's punk.
Yeah.
You know who's doing that? It's literally like Playboy Cardi, like dudes like that. Like that's who's doing that. The biggest influencers. Like I was just saying with Nike, with like that's Travis Scott that's pushing that thing. It's like is Playboy Cardi's on that punk, and people are liking it. And I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I got buddies that even dress like that, and they look good. They look good being themselves, and that's the biggest thing for me. And like I was just saying with the shorts and everything, people look best just dressing as themselves. Being yourself. That's as simple as that to me.
I love it.
Definitely.
I feel like people were so self-conscious back in the day to fit into a genre.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays, it's so wide range. I think it's exciting to be yourself now.
100%.
And you hear the stereotypes. It's 2021. Do what you want, right?
Yeah.
But going off of that, I think fashion has developed more because it's pushed the boundaries. I mean,
100%.
once again, I don't know much about fashion. As like for someone like you who does things like investing in vintage shirts and really caring about the quality and knowing more than what I would, I just kind of look at it as like what's popular and what I see for myself. So it's kind of interesting how we, you know, went back from a time period and then, you know, things are just becoming, you know, what is it called when things like are like out of style and then they come back in?
Yeah, just coming back into style.
That's what it is. I mean,
There probably is a word for it.
There's a word for it.
I don't know though.
We'll
But I
figure
know
it out.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you're on the money with that.
I know.
100%. 90%. I keep saying 100%.
So as somebody who's like really, I guess, into the fashion world, or at least keeps an eye on it, how do you really gauge sort of like what the next thing is? Like, is there any really like, I don't even know. I don't know if there's like a whole like news like page for that kind of thing, or like, is it more just sort of what's popular, or is it sort of, I don't even know how.
I just feel like celebrities kind of influence that.
Would you say
honestly.
that celebrity influence is probably the most like
Definitely.
I would have to
influential?
agree. Yeah, 100%. You know, I don't. It's like that's a like good question, honestly, because I mean, as you guys probably know, like I don't like dress to like keep up with like a trend by any means, but like I think Sean's on the money with that. Honestly, like I was just saying with Travis and Cardi. I mean,
just culture in general
Yeah.
is really influenced by celebrities. Like, what's good
100%.
with the masks? Like, I just feel like
yeah, man, you saw
that's, like,
Kanye
that's
with those
huge.
Donda masks.
Yeah.
And
But then
have
now
you seen
everybody
them
else
with
is
the,
following
with the
suit.
holes. Those are repurposed vintage T-shirts. Like you got like the Harley ones and like a couple other ones.
okay.
And they're making them into masks. And you see, I've just seen ever since he put that mask. I mean, that dude is so influential into clothing, especially is crazy. But dude, he put that mask on, and my Instagram feed ever since then it's
it's
just
just straight up masks.
everyone's got masks.
I sent you the
Where are
post.
they getting
Wait,
them?
Adam, I sent you the post talking about like this, like the meaning behind masks, though, right?
Yeah, it's the kill your ego.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a really cool concept, actually. It really is.
It's like letting the art speak for.
It's like you have no, you know, what's the best word for it? No predisposition. Is that a correct word? Sure. I think it
We'll
is.
take
We'll
it.
look that up
could,
later.
It could be.
We'll
wrong.
take
yeah,
it.
We'll fact check that later. But nah, but yeah, that's a really cool concept. Honestly, you know, it's true too. I mean, you cover your face. Nobody even, you know, they can't make an assumption on you. That you can't do anything. It's like it's essentially like deleting your ego.
But what's interesting?
way.
What's interesting about it is like I feel like normal people just can't do that though. Like with masks in
I'll
general.
tell you
like
what.
that.
If masks come back to New York, I'm making one of those.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm making a Donda mask.
see, celebrity
Yeah.
influence,
So that's
bro.
what-
That's
you
just-
know.
that's what it is.
You know, really, I think that's a great point. These celebrities also, I feel like my biggest question really comes down to like, is it more like they're the ones that are sort of in control of pop culture, or are they being influenced by something that we don't even understand as people that might not be in the celebrity scene? You know what I'm saying? Like, where does like the next trend start? Does it start with their headspace, or would you say that maybe it would start like elsewhere, that of somewhere we might not even really think about?
Yeah, like what's influencing them?
Really?
Probably a mixture of both.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably kind of crazy. You know, they might go to these like exclusive like private parties in California or Calabasas or something, or who knows,
Yeah.
wherever.
Even on top of that, I mean, there could be heads in like their label, you know, telling them,
Yeah.
like you were saying with the E-boy, you know, paint your nails. That's gonna get clicks.
Yeah.
It could be on that
But
type of stuff too. So
On the topic of that E-boy, like sort of like punk trend, I mean, like MGK, I feel like is a huge
Oh, yeah.
influencer into that right now. You see a lot of these TikTok dudes or whatever they want to call themselves, and it's like, I feel like MGK sort of taking like some of those guys, I guess, that have like that weird edgy vibe, and some of it's cringy for me personally. Like I see some of that and I'm like, it ain't for me, but to each their own. But it's just, you know, it's just funny that I think, you know, MGK a couple years ago felt like sort of like a very hardcore rap artist, and now you see how much he's transitioned into like a Travis Barker punk rock artist. And I find it interesting because if you were to talk to MGK 5 years ago, do you think that he would be like, yeah, nah, that ain't even my lane? Or is it sort of just like,
Probably.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the influence that maybe Hollywood that you don't even realize. It happens right in front of you. So
I'm sure it has something to do with like how he grew up. Like, it just probably listened to that. His parents probably
Maybe.
played a lot of that. It's
But
kinda,
also,
like, really influenced
the
him.
benefits to that is like, I would say 5 years ago, I don't think you're making music like that, and it's becoming popular. It's kind of cool that it's becoming the mainstream. My fear, though, is that it's going to become the mainstream and it'll take away from the classics or something. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's an interesting point on that MGK too is ever since he's been like this, I don't know if you guys, he's been going crazy recently. He's acting, like doing.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
All over the place. And it's actually, I'm just kind of thinking this now. It's like, I wonder if that new, that rebranding did that for him.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
definitely a question you could ponder. So yeah, influence is just huge in general in the world. So
everyone's influenced.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's one of those things. We pretty much covered most of kind of what we wanted to talk about, but as far as like Psych Soon goes, I guess one big question, and we can go on for a while about this, and I'm just gonna ask you, where do you see this brand going in the future? What's your real long-term goals, short-term goals? What's next for you guys?
Shoot.
Be happy, put out our art together. I mean, if people like it, that's awesome. Like I appreciate that literally more, like the support on any art that I would ever make. I mean, dependent from clothes, whatever it may be, even though I don't really put that stuff out like that. I mean, any support like that is just like, that means the world to me. It's really awesome when you hear, just someone just appreciating, just anything obviously that you do, but especially when it's something that you put a lot of, time, money, effort, everything into. It's like, but I mean, I don't have any, real, if you want to be honest with you, I don't have any like real goal. Obviously I would love for this brand to go crazy, don't get me wrong, but I mean, we're just playing it by ear, we're, we were talking about before, it's not a profit thing. It's nothing like that. It's just simply, we want to get our art out. We think that we work well together. Yeah. And we just want to, get this out for anyone. And anyone that likes it, tag along.
Hell yeah.
We love you guys if you do. It's the truth.
We're supporting you guys all the way. I mean,
back at you.
These
90%ers.
These two supporting this podcast before most of our audience even knew we were doing it, and going back.
Yeah, you tell me about it in Target.
I know.
I was way there. I was like, bro, just do it. You gotta do it.
We gotta do it. So again, it goes hand in hand. We're not doing this to impress anybody. This is our channel. Mike and I can speak for the both of us. We really love entertaining our friends, our family members, and people that may not even know us. I think getting in front of a microphone takes a lot of balls. And again, what you mentioned with your brand, that's why I think it's perfect to have you on here, and we're so happy that we did. This conversation's been great.
Happy to be here, boys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I'm just so happy that you have the same mindset. It's really just about more your passions. And I think in the long term, if it wasn't a passion of yours, your fans or people who support your brand could recognize that. And, this is a start for something huge. So I think it's so cool to have our, channel starting here, and then having you guys start where you're at with your business. So, it's only up from here, and it's exciting. So,
yeah. And I feel like too, I feel like that is a really good approach to take with things. Is just just be 100% genuine.
90%.
90% genuine. No, you gotta be 100% genuine. Even the 90%ers are 100% genuine. Come on. Yeah. But just being yourself, and just like you were saying with the pie, like that's how you get yourself out there. It's not about I'm gonna. Don't get me wrong, goals are great. Like they're great, but it's not about especially with something like this. Like it's not like I want to sell $1,000 worth of merchandise the next 2 years, because I really don't necessarily care about that at all. It's just more about just getting stuff out like this that I like, and hopefully everyone likes. Obviously, that's what clothing brands are.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that if people were more like the four of us in this room, this world would be so much of a better place. If people were literally just authentic a little bit more, I'm a firm believer that the world would profit so much more off of one another. The free-flowing ideas and the creativity that can be put out there for people, there's so much that I feel like we do negatively as a society, and with this this brand and our podcast and that kind of thing, like it's really just us being authentic to ourselves at the end of the day. And you know, a lot of people think maybe, or they have an idea that the four of us expect to be millionaires or like want like the fame and success. But to me, success comes from like doing something you're proud of,
Being authentic,
and, you know, having the respect of your peers. And that's really, you know, at the end of the day, my happiness, and hopefully the fame and the riches or whatever comes with it someday. Who knows?
Just do what you love.
Yeah, because you can't get there without this mindset first, in my opinion. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys, to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we have you on soon again,
Yeah, I'd
some
love to
other
come
time.
back.
You already know.
You guys are always welcome. You know that.
Appreciate you boys having us.
Yeah, so it's been awesome. You know, thanks guys for coming on the
Thank you,
podcast. This has been the
been real.
90% podcast. As always, live 90%, yada yada bing. Get some orange juice, the whole 9. Nick, you send us off here, buddy.
Mic check.
Thank you everyone for watching, and if you're still here, thanks.
Shout out for real.
Thank you, Adam and Sean, again. We're so excited for your drop. Check out their Instagram page, Psych Soon. Support the boys. If you like this video or other videos, you can follow us on the Iula Twins YouTube channel, where you're probably watching this if you aren't already. As well, find our Instagram, all linked down below in the description. So much I could say, but we'll leave it at that. So this has been the 90% podcast. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.